It was a grey morning, and I had been awake since much too early, trying to decide whether I was sick enough to go to the clinic or just tired enough to complain dramatically to myself in the kitchen. By 10 o'clock, I had chosen the clinic. The waiting room was quiet in the particular way medical spaces often are. A few people sat with jackets folded over their laps. Someone coughed softly. Someone else kept scrolling on a phone without really looking at it. At the front desk, a receptionist was speaking to each person in the same calm voice. I knew the difficult part would not be getting there. It would be explaining what was wrong. Not because anything was terribly serious. That was almost the problem. It was not dramatic enough to point at clearly. I just felt unwell in several small ways that sounded vague even in my first language. So while I waited, I quietly practiced the useful pieces. My throat hurts. I've had a cough for 3 days. I feel tired. I don't have a fever. Simple sentences. Plain ones. The kind that do not make you sound impressive, but do help someone understand you. When it was my turn, the receptionist looked up and asked what had brought me in. For a second, all the sentences I had prepared moved out of order. Not gone. Just crowded together. So I took a breath and started with the clearest one. My throat hurts, I said. And I've had a cough for 3 days. She nodded right away, which helped more than I expected. Then she asked if I had a fever, if I had any trouble breathing, and whether the cough was getting worse. Because the questions were simple, my answers became simple too. No fever. No trouble breathing. A little worse at night. Once the first sentence was out, the rest became easier. That was the part one had not understood before. I thought I needed to explain everything beautifully, in full sentences, smoothly, like a person in complete control of both language and lungs. But the clinic did not need beautiful English. It only needed clear information. After that, the nurse called me in and asked many of the same questions again, but more slowly. By then, the words felt less sharp in my mouth. More familiar. Almost useful in a calm way. When she asked, "Is it painful when you swallow?" I understood at once and answered at once. That felt like a small private victory. By the time I left, I had a few instructions, a plan for rest, and that quiet feeling that comes after something you were nervous about turns out to be manageable. Outside, the air was cold, and the walk home felt easier than the walk in. Not because I felt better yet, but because I no longer felt so far away from the words I needed. Later that day, I caught myself repeating the phrases again while making tea. My throat hurts. I've had a cough for 3 days. Simple things. Ordinary things. But now they sounded less like sentences I had borrowed and more like sentences I could keep.